Have you noticed how every family, every friend group, every workplace has that one person? The steady one, the composed one, the one who doesn't break down. When things fall apart, everyone turns to them, and somehow they always hold it together. There's a type of person who became strong so early, they don't even remember choosing it. It just happened. Not because they wanted attention, not because they needed praise, but because someone had to be the stable one, and no one else was. Picture a dinner table, voices slightly raised, tension hanging in the air like humidity before a storm. One person sits quietly, not withdrawn, not reactive, just steady. They pass the salt. They change the subject. They make a small joke to lower the temperature. Later that night, when everyone else vents, cries, or slams doors, they clean up, alone. Or imagine a group of friends going through something difficult. One breakup, one job loss, one family crisis. There's always that one person who listens to everyone else's problems, who gives calm advice, who absorbs the emotional overflow. But when they go home, no one calls to ask how they're doing. Because they're fine. They're always fine. That's the image. But here's what's happening underneath. The nervous system adapts early. If chaos is unpredictable, the body searches for control. If emotional expression causes more conflict, it learns restraint. If vulnerability is ignored or punished, it learns self-containment. Strength, in many cases, begins as a survival strategy. A child senses instability. Maybe a parent is overwhelmed. Maybe emotions in the house are loud and explosive. Maybe no one is modeling regulation. So the child becomes observant, hyper-aware. They read the room before speaking. They manage their reactions carefully. They learn that being calm reduces damage. Being useful earns value. Being composed creates safety. Over time, this isn't a tactic anymore. It becomes identity. I'm the strong one. And identity is powerful. Because once something becomes identity, the nervous system protects it, even when it starts to hurt. As an adult, this pattern looks impressive. Reliable, independent, emotionally mature. They don't panic easily. They don't overreact. They don't burden others with their problems. In relationships, they become the stable partner, the rational one during arguments, the one who says, "It's okay, I'll handle it." At work, they become the dependable one. Extra responsibility lands on their desk. Leadership trusts them. Colleagues lean on them. Friends call them first during crises. But something subtle happens. They become the emotional container for everyone else. And containers rarely get poured into. They give advice, but rarely ask for it. They support, but rarely lean. They understand others deeply, but struggle to feel understood. Because strength, when it becomes armor, creates distance. Not loud distance. Not dramatic distance. Quiet distance. The kind where people admire you, but don't fully know you. The kind where others assume resilience means lack of need. The hidden cost of being the strong one is not exhaustion. It's invisibility. When someone is consistently composed, people forget they are human. And over time, that person forgets too. Feelings get processed internally. Alone. Silently. Efficiency replaces expression. They might not even realize they're suppressing anything. It just feels natural. But the nervous system keeps records. Unexpressed emotion doesn't disappear. It stores itself in subtle ways. Irritability that seems random. A low-grade loneliness that doesn't make sense. Attraction to partners who are more emotionally chaotic. Because chaos feels familiar. And being needed feels like purpose. Sometimes, the strong one chooses people who require fixing. Not consciously, but because their nervous system equates usefulness with connection. If I'm helping, I belong. If I'm steady, I won't be abandoned. But this creates imbalance. They overfunction. Others underfunction. Resentment builds quietly. Yet they don't complain. Because complaining would contradict the identity. Strong people don't need help. Strong people don't fall apart. Strong people handle it. That's the script running in the background. And scripts, once internalized, shape attraction, conflict style, and even ambition. Many strong ones pursue high-responsibility careers. They gravitate toward roles where control and competence are rewarded. Leadership, caregiving, strategic positions, places where emotional restraint looks like wisdom. And to be fair, there is power in this pattern. Emotional control is leverage. When others react impulsively, the strong one observes. When others collapse under pressure, the strong one remains stable. They can see dynamics clearly because they are not drowning in them. This makes them excellent decision makers, excellent strategists, excellent protectors. They understand people because they have spent years studying emotional shifts to maintain safety. That observational skill is not weakness. It is refined awareness. But here's the edge. If strength becomes rigidity, growth stops. If composure becomes avoidance, intimacy suffers. If independence becomes isolation, connection weakens. The very trait that created safety begins to limit expansion. Because true intimacy requires something strength resists. Visibility. And visibility requires vulnerability. Not dramatic breakdowns. Not oversharing. Just honest moments of, I'm not okay. For someone who built identity around stability, that feels dangerous. If I drop the role, who am I? If I stop holding everyone together, will everything collapse? Will I lose value? This is the hidden fear. Not weakness. Loss of role. Loss of usefulness. Loss of being the pillar. But here's the deeper truth. The people who are forced to become strong early often underestimate how resilient they actually are. They think vulnerability will shatter them. But strength built through adaptation is not fragile. It's flexible. The nervous system learned control to survive. Now it can learn softness to connect. Strength does not have to mean silence. It can mean choice. Choosing when to carry. Choosing when to speak. Choosing when to say, I need a moment. There's a difference between being strong and being unavailable. Between being independent and being unreachable. Between being calm and being disconnected. The strongest person in the room is not the one who feels nothing. It's the one who can feel fully and still remain grounded. That's evolution. And evolution requires awareness. If this pattern feels familiar, it's not a flaw. It was intelligent. It protected something important. But now the question becomes strategic. Is this strength serving the present or protecting the past? Because patterns that once ensured survival can quietly restrict fulfillment. The strong one often dreams of being deeply understood, of being able to exhale around someone, of not having to manage every emotional variable in the room. But that experience doesn't arrive by accident. It arrives through recalibration, through small acts of honesty, through letting someone see uncertainty without rushing to clean it up, through allowing help, even when it feels unnecessary. Strength is still there. It doesn't disappear. It simply becomes integrated. Instead of armor, it becomes foundation. Instead of control, it becomes stability. And stability doesn't need to prove itself. It just is. There is nothing wrong with being the steady one, the observant one, the capable one. But there is a cost when identity hardens around it, when humanity gets compressed to maintain an image. The hidden cost of being the strong one is carrying the world, and forgetting someone could help carry you. But here's the shift. No one appointed you permanently. The role was assumed. And what is assumed can be redefined. Now that the pattern is visible, there is choice. Strength can remain. Competence can remain. Composure can remain. But so can honesty. So can softness. So can asking. The next time silence feels automatic, pause. Ask whether it's wisdom or conditioning. The next time responsibility lands instantly on your shoulders, pause. Ask whether it's leadership or habit. Awareness doesn't erase strength. It refines it. And refined strength is not heavy. It's intentional. If this resonated, stay with this channel. The next video will explore why hyperindependence often masks a deeper fear of dependence and how to rebalance it without losing yourself. Until then, notice the role you've been playing and decide carefully how you want to use it.